I hope your day is full of poker and blackjack and the ace of spades and slot machines. It's a Vegas intro, motherfucker. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of SHENK. I'm Sara Weinshenk, and today's guest is the one, the only comedian Josh Wolf. But before we get into this week's episode of SHENK with Josh Wolf, there's just a few things I want to tell you about. One, I am coming to DC Comedy Loft in November with Kim Congdon. I am coming to La Jolla in December. Get tickets for those dates and more dates at Princess Shank on Instagram. And you can always find bonus content, patreon.com/Sara Weinshenk. Before I get into this week's episode of SHENK with Josh, there's just a few things I want to tell you about. One is, oh yeah, socks. Oh yeah. If you're like me, you like to cover your tootsies in the most elaborate sock designs. Whether you're into alligator slippers or blueberry socks, there's something unique for you. And you can shop ohyeah.com. That's 3 O's, HYEAH.com. Discount code Sara, SARA 10 for 10% off unique sock designs. And guys, go check out Josh Wolf's special. It drops today on YouTube. It's called 4 Stories. Make sure you check that out, and let's get into this week's episode of SHENK with the one, the only comedian Josh Wolf. Guys, here it is. Let's start this shit.
Okay, I'm ready.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of SHENK. I'm Sara Weinshenk, and today's guest is the one, the only comedian, Josh Wolf.
Hello.
Hello.
It's been so long.
I know, it has been so long.
You know, I was thinking about you the other day because I'm bringing back my High Life show.
Which is so fun.
And I remember having so much fun with you in my backyard, probably over quarantine.
Yeah.
And with weird sunglasses and boas. And
Yeah. You had like a Tupperware of like costumes that you would bring out.
Yeah.
And it was like fun.
Yeah.
It was like a play date.
That's
it was like
basically-
being a kid.
It was like Pee-wee's Playhouse for stoners.
Yes.
But so I'm bringing it back in Vegas.
So cool.
But we're going to do it like in front of a live crowd, in front of like 60 to 80 people.
That's awesome.
And it'll be, but it's like it's I guess not really, but it's just a weird, fun
It's so
show.
fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
We'll have to have you out to do
Yeah,
it.
because the format is like loose and fun.
That's the only way I know how to do it.
Yeah, loose and fun.
Yeah. I wouldn't still be doing this if I didn't still keep it loose and still have fun.
Yeah. How long have you been doing it?
The first time I ever got on stage, I was 15.
What the fuck, Josh?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then the fourth time I was ever on stage, I opened up for Sam Kinison.
That's also crazy.
That was of bananas.
Where was that?
San Antonio, Texas. I had just won a comedy competition at a bar. And I didn't win it because I was the best. I won it because you bring your friends. The audience reaction is who wins.
Right.
And there was no money, but the winner got free beer, tap beer all night.
Okay.
And I was like, guys, free beer for me is free beer for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so they came and packed it out, and I won. And then maybe the next day or the day after, I got a phone call because Carl LeBeau used to open for Kinison, and his dad, this was so long ago, I think the reason he couldn't make it is I think his dad passed away on their way to San Antonio. So he had to veer off. And they just called and were like, hey, whoever won the comedy competition, ask him if he wants to open for Sam.
That's crazy.
It was, okay, can I tell you what I was wearing?
Yes, please tell me what you're wearing.
Okay. Yeah, you'll appreciate this. So I a college guy, at the time, dudes were not into fashion at all.
Right.
Okay. But I was like, I got to make a splash, but I didn't have any money, and my closet was very limited.
Okay.
So I had acid wash jeans.
Okay.
I had loafers.
No, not loafers with acid wash jeans.
It gets worse.
That's already insane.
Wait.
Okay.
I had a blue button-down shirt.
Okay.
That I tucked in. And you remember, those black belts that had the silver pointed tip on them.
Yes. No.
With those, but it hung down. It fell. It was too long, so it pointed down.
Okay.
I had a black motorcycle jacket on over my blue button-down shirt.
Okay.
I had a ponytail.
You had a ponytail?
Wait, and bangs.
You had a ponytail and bangs?
You know, not like straight bang, but off to the side bang.
What?
Yeah.
How long did you have the ponytail for?
Well, I had really long hair through the 90s.
Whoa.
So when I was in Seattle, my hair was mid-back.
That fits with Seattle.
Yeah, I was there when Cobain killed himself.
You were?
Yeah, I lived down the fucking street from him. I couldn't get to my house because at the time I had a New York driver's license, and there was so many looksy-loos, they had to block off the street, so I couldn't prove that I lived there.
No. So what did you do?
So I had to park and walk a mile to get to where I lived.
What? The Seattle phase?
I used to see him at the park by Leshai. I think that's Lake Washington. I don't remember. But I used to see him just sitting on a park bench. Nobody bothered him. He had his giant glasses on and this hat with flaps, you know?
Yeah.
And a heavy trench coat. But he would just sit there. He lived a quarter mile from me, maybe half mile.
So when you lived in Seattle, did you have kids?
That's where I met the mother of my kids. When I met her, she had 2 kids and we had a kid together.
Okay.
And then we all moved down here. But it's where I met, I started with Joey Diaz and Brody.
In Seattle.
Which was such an insane, when I think about starting with those 2 dudes in particular.
In Seattle?
Yeah. Brody had moved up there. When I met Brody, his name, I didn't know him as Brody. I called him Steve until the day he died.
You did?
That's how I knew him. He was Steve Brody.
Yeah.
And then one day he bombed in only the way he could bomb at an open mic.
Yeah, of course.
And he said to me, he was like, Steve Brody isn't funny. And I said, I think you're really funny. He goes, no, he said, do you know who's funny? I said, who? He said, Brody Stevens. I said, who's that? He said, you'll see tomorrow. And he came back as the dude you knew.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Next day?
It was the next time I saw him. I don't know how soon it was. But I remember I had a podcast. The only podcast I ever shot and didn't air was with Steve. It was at my house. He had a real crazy meltdown kind of break on the show.
Okay.
And I remember saying to him after the show, hey, I'm going to hold on to this. And check in with me in a couple days and let me know.
If you want me to release it.
If you want me to release this. I said, but if you're asking me, I say, no, we don't release it.
Right.
And he said, it'll get a lot of, I go, yeah, but not the ones you want.
Yeah.
But I remember asking him on that podcast, dude, so I call you Steve. Everyone else calls you Brody.
Right.
Are those 2 different people? And he was like, yeah. And I said, where does the line? He goes, the line used to be I could see the line and it's blurred a lot more now.
That's what he said?
Yeah. But because he, the Brody persona became something he had to do so much that Steve was not he didn't have to be Steve as much.
Yeah.
He was watching him and Joey because and you've been doing stand-up now for a long time.
Yeah.
The people who find out how to be authentically themselves, unapologetically, the quickest win.
Right.
And nobody, when Brody figured out who he was, nobody was more authentic. And Joey Diaz, the same thing.
Yeah.
Joey was, I remember watching him and he would bomb because he was just writing jokes. But then when he got mad and went off.
Oh, yeah. When he rants.
Up. When his face and his neck would get. But when I met Joey, he was 220 pounds. And he would go on stage in a suit and.
He would wear a suit?
There were a couple. He did a show at the Comedy Underground. And he showed up in a 3-piece suit.
That's crazy. I can't imagine him in a 3-piece suit.
Nah, dude, this was right before he went to jail. I have so many great stories and memories of that time.
Yeah.
You know what I love about that time?
What?
I actually was talking to him about this not too long ago. It was so pure why you wanted to get on stage.
Yeah. There's no podcast, right?
No podcast. And it was just about comedy. And we would go from the open mic to a diner where we could all afford 1 cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But we would just go over our sets and bounce jokes off each other. There was no pressure. The only drive was to do stand-up and get better at stand-up. And it was so cool to have a group of comedy. We weren't in LA distracted by TV or anything else.
Right.
It was, let's do stand-up. I wish I could get you, I would have brought you a young picture of Joey. See that picture right there? It says Facebook, North Bergen?
Yeah. I saw the video you posted of him babysitting your kids.
One of his headshots. My brother took that picture.
That's so crazy.
That's in the back by El Compadre.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, my brother took those pictures.
That's wild. So how long were you in Seattle for?
93 or 94, maybe 94 to 97 or 8. Because
Cool.
when Jacob was born, so 97, because I drove down here with Jacob
Okay.
in 97. But it was an amazing time. I'm so glad I didn't start in a place here
Where you can't get stage time.
and you're so inundated with people telling you what you should and shouldn't do, or if I want to be on TV, I got to do this and I can't do this. It was just about, let's go to this open mic and let's try these jokes. And when we were at the original Comedy Underground with a guy named Ron Reed and Carl Warmhoven, and they didn't have any rules. They were just like, go be funny, try shit.
That's so fun.
It was an amazing time. It reminded me also of honestly, Mitzi passed me, right?
Yeah.
But this OR is so different. She used to have people like Jeremy Dingle.
Who the hell is Jeremy Dingle?
Exactly. Heath Heitch. She had people who did puppets or pulled things out of the trunk or did voice. She brought all of the weird. It wasn't just straight. If you had a guitar or you were doing something weird and you were funny, she was going to pass you.
Yeah.
And so it was different. I remember
taking risks. People that were not afraid to take risks.
Or just where they were different. She liked the different energy.
Freak show.
It was, dude, 1 a.m., past 1 a.m., especially a Brody set past 1 a.m.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Did you ever get to see any of those?
Yes,
I'm sure you did.
They were insane.
But him and Don together?
It's so funny.
Right? And people in the audience, I'm sure, are like, is this real? Is this not real?
Yeah.
But that type of energy is when people would always like, there's a lot of good rooms. And what's the difference between the Cellar and here? And both have great history.
Right.
And I never was a Cellar dude, and I didn't start there. But to me, what separated this place was Wednesday at 1 a.m. on.
Yeah.
What Brody and Barris was doing, what other, Sandy Goes Crazy here, what Jeremiah would do late night.
Yeah.
That separated this place.
And Holtzman.
Yeah, dude, fucking Holtzman. Dude. I'm so glad that he's still doing stand-up. He's such a one-of-one human.
He really is. He's such a fucking weirdo in the best way.
The dude you meet off stage is not that dude.
No, the dude you meet off stage is like so sweet
The
and
kindest.
like gentle. And you're like, and if you know him, that it's just like he's different when he's on stage versus in real life.
Yes. But I love it.
I know. Because nobody else can do that the way that he does it.
No, and nobody else can, where you're like, there's no way he's ever going to dig himself out of this hole.
Yeah, and he does.
Not only does he do it, people who hated him 5 minutes ago fucking love him.
And it's fucking crazy.
It's such a, there's nobody like him.
And he wears those crazy shirts like that one over there.
Oh, dude, I love the crazy shirts. I love how high he pulls his pants.
Yeah, no, he's like a cartoon character. He's not a real person. He's the fucking best.
But here's another thing. When we talk about authentic, he's never, I'm sure there were people like, dude, you want to make in this business or not?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure he was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he'd never changed who he is or was.
Yeah.
It's really not easy to do that.
Yeah. Especially, yeah. I mean, no, I know he's killing it now too. He's at the mothership.
Yeah.
He's like, has people that come out just to see him. It's awesome.
What? Listen, there's nobody else who's going to deliver what he delivers.
No, it's so crazy. I remember like the first time I saw him on stage, then for a little while I was kind of like intimidated by him because I'm like, he's an intense guy. And then he's the sweetest, nicest. He's a teddy bear. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yep.
All right. You know what? Let's take a second from the podcast to talk about one of our sponsors. It's Mint Mobile. Shanks, you know I fucking hate getting ripped off. I don't like a scam. I don't like a scam, and our entire country is made up of scams.
It's true. One thing about Mama, she don't like a scam. That's why she trusts Mint Mobile.
That's why I trust Mint Mobile. With big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were magically getting skyrockets every freaking time. With Mint Mobile, you'll never have to worry about gotchas ever again. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they fucking mean it. Also, $15 a month, I spend more on blunt wraps.
Yeah, I've pissed away so much money with AT&T and I'm done. Now that I found Mint.
Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected charges. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month.
$15 a month.
$15 a month. All plans come on high-speed data and unlimited talks and texts delivered on nation's largest 5G network.
Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal and get 3 months of premium wireless service for just $15 a month.
Okay, guys, so to get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/thisbee. That's mintmobile.com/thisbee. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/thisbee. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speeds slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. And let's get back into the pod, bitch.
Let's do it. Wait, so you have, how many grandkids did you say you have?
I have 5 grandkids.
Josh, that's crazy.
I have 6 grandkids.
You have 6
Let's say
grandkids?
so. Yeah, I have 6. I have 6 grandkids, yeah.
And you first had kids at what age?
7. It's funny because Jacob tours with me now.
I know, that's so cool. That's
and he
awesome.
said to me, he just turned 27, and he said, "It's a big birthday for me." And I said, "Why?" And he said, I'm now the age you were when you had me. And I hadn't thought of that being a thing for him.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, it's a big birthday for me.
Yeah, it is. Because then you start like seeing your parents through a different light. Like my mom had me when she was 25. And I was like, oh, she was only 25.
Isn't that crazy?
That's fucking crazy. Like if she was my age, she would, I was 12 when she was my age. I'm like, I can't imagine having a fucking 12-year-old right now.
No. And at 25, how would you have done with a baby?
Probably not great. Not great at all.
I have to say, I mean, I didn't think I would. When people are like, are you ready? Am I ready? You're never ready.
Right.
It's like saying, are you ready for jail? I don't know. I've never been to jail.
Yeah.
I think no.
Yeah.
But the same thing with kids. You just figure it out.
Yeah.
I am so glad I did it for me. Did it when I was younger.
Because you need all the energy.
I needed all the energy. And I would have had a different perspective now than then. Then my perspective was, let's keep it fun. I didn't know enough about life. I kept it fun and entertaining. I think I'd probably be more cautious as I got older. Not cautious like they were in danger.
But preventing them from danger.
So we had 0 money, okay?
Okay. Were you a comic?
Yeah, the Joey Diaz used to watch my kids.
I know, that's the craziest
in the
shit.
parking lot here.
That's so crazy.
So the two guys that would babysit them the most were either Joey or Ralphie.
That's so crazy. Ralphie May?
Yeah, and so if I couldn't find a sitter, I would bring them here, and a comic would sit in the car with them while I did my set. Or at the Improv, I could at least bring them into that restaurant area, and they would sit down, and either a server or one of the comics would sit with them, and I would do my set, and then I would leave.
That's so crazy. That must have been so hard.
Yeah, but it was what I wanted to do. There was no
right.
Do you know what I mean? Like there was no. This is what I'm here for. I now have 3 kids, and that doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing. It was also honestly having them that when we had that little money, I think was a blessing because it made me realize that I didn't need money to make sure. I didn't need money to be a good parent. I didn't need money for my kids to have fun. I didn't need money for them to know that I loved them.
Right.
That none of that stuff. I didn't get to throw money at a problem.
Right.
And be like, oh, I'm going to buy this toy.
Right.
I didn't have those options. So it was like us together as a group. Joey was a great babysitter, man.
That's
they loved
so
having
fucking
Joey
crazy.
as a babysitter.
That would have been the best babysitter ever.
Ralphie May used to pretend like he was a piñata.
No.
And if the kids hit him, he would throw some candy out of his pocket. But it was a great, zero regrets, man. Zero regrets how this all went down. I could not be, and I could not be happier right now. I've never had more fun doing stand up. I've never been happier in my life than I am right now.
Really? That's awesome.
It's spectacular. I'm so happy.
What do you think is the cause of that happiness?
So many things. I will say leaving here helped. The constant pressure and feeling like you're competing with your peers is a fucking real bummer.
Yeah.
And it's dangled in front of your face all the time. And the minute that I was like, I told Beth, because there was
I love Beth.
My wife.
Yes.
By the way, who just sold them. Can I say this? When does this air?
A week from tomorrow.
If I can't say it, can we take it out?
Yes.
So she sold a movie to Netflix.
Okay, awesome.
That she wrote. So doing great. But I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh,
why are you happier?
I remember coming home to the house and saying to her, I said, we got to get out of here. I said, and she said, why? I said, there was a friend of mine, something good happened for him. And my first reaction has always been, for every comic, I'm so happy for you.
Right.
And that was the first time I was like, well, why didn't I get that?
Yeah.
And I said to her, I said, I'm not going to be that guy. I would rather quit and get out of here, but you're not going to change who I am. Look, I am sincerely happy for everybody in our business that has success.
Right.
Your success has nothing to do with me.
Right. But
and I know the struggle, so I'm super happy for you.
Right.
And the day that there was even a twinge of why not me, I was like, yeah, I can't be here. This is ruining who I want to be as a person. And that was more important to me than being here, you know?
Well, so you feel relieved being in Vegas?
Well, I have a residency there every Monday night.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which you're welcome to come anytime and come and hang and do some shows. And then I do Monday, and then Tuesday will be when the High Live is. So maybe we'll do a double night.
Yeah. That'd be so fun. Where's your residency?
At Kimmel's.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's amazing. I travel with Jacob, which is...
I know. That's so fun.
You know what it is? You know that young comic energy, which is full of hope and let's talk about comedy. And he's got that.
That's awesome.
And so after the shows, we talk comedy and he's like, what do you think about this joke? I'm like, yay, you know? Plus, and every Friday night late show, I do 3 grams of mushrooms and go on stage.
So fun.
The most fun.
How does that affect your material?
I mean, you're assuming I stay on the material.
Yeah, you don't. You don't.
I honestly, it's just, I have so much fun with it. And people come to the show know Friday Night Late shows. Sometimes I stay on topic, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's super weird, but it's always just, the energy. I try to keep everything fun and loose.
Yeah.
So mushrooms just accentuates that.
Yeah, mushrooms are great.
They are so much fun.
Yeah. Well, so are you able to get new material going on stage on mushrooms?
Yes.
Like a lot?
Yeah, because I open it up to the crowd. And I'm like, ask me anything.
That's fun.
Right? And so they ask me questions about, me and Jacob or my material, but they also sometimes know I'm on mushrooms and they'll be like, ask me advice or ask me, tell me the weirdest story that's ever happened to you or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And so, your brain just on mushrooms is like,
yeah,
wide.
Yeah. The
And so
neuroplasticity.
Yeah, say that.
I can't. I could barely say it once. Did you see me? It was like I had a stroke. I was like, the neuroplasticity.
Yeah, your left eye shut for no reason.
I could barely say it once.
Yeah, your neuroplasticity needs
It's a little work.
It's a little
Neuroplasticity.
stiff. Yeah, like someone pulled the plug. But I have enjoyed it these past couple of years immensely. In Vegas, if you could get 20 sets a week in Vegas if you wanted to.
That sounds great.
There's legit 7 comedy clubs there. Legit comedy clubs.
That's awesome. I love Wise Guys. I did
There's
Wise
3
Guys.
of them there now.
Really? I did the one in the Arts District. I thought that one was
cool is that?
That one's cool because it's not in a hotel, so it's freestanding. So it feels like everyone who's coming out are like fans of comedy.
It is.
Yeah.
And they're locals.
Yeah.
But that area of Vegas is so cool.
Yeah, that downtown area.
It's very Eagle Rocky.
It is very Eagle Rocky. Have you been to Meow Wolf?
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
Yeah.
When I did Wise Guys, I went by myself to Meow Wolf. I took an edible. I had the best day ever.
Dude, that sounds like...
It was so fun.
When people are like, why would you do that by yourself? I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I know.
That's exactly who I want to experience that with.
Yeah. I don't worry about someone else wanting to see something else.
It's hard to explain that place. It's so awesome.
I know. It's so cool, though. I mean, they're opening, Meow Wolf is opening a spa in Texas where it's like a interactive spa.
Really?
Yeah. So you could like be in the jacuzzi watching like psychedelic things.
I might have to do that.
I know. It sounds so cool.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't think I've ever, I can't remember the last time I heard somebody refer to a hot tub as a jacuzzi.
Really?
Yeah, that feels.
Did I date myself?
Yeah, that feels. Can I tell you?
Yeah.
Me, Lonnie Love, Natasha Leggero, and I forget who the other person was during the Chelsea Lately days. They booked us at this. We were told it was a resort. I think upstate New York, but it might have been Pennsylvania.
Okay.
It was a swingers resort. My room had a spiral staircase that led to a giant martini glass hot tub.
What?
That was on the second floor. So I would have got off my bed, which was up the spiral staircase, and I could have slid into the martini glass.
Did you do it?
Fuck yeah. Now I wore a lot of clothes because I was like,
what? I don't know what's in that martini hot tub.
But the people at look at that.
That's Meow Wolf.
I can't wait. And I think they have one in Denver, right? A Meow
Yeah,
Wolf?
they have one in Denver too. But this one's the first spa one. Wait, so that's crazy.
But the crowd, we didn't know until we showed up. They were like, oh, everybody here is going to be a swinger.
Ew.
It was.
I don't know. Swingers give me the ick.
This is not my thing.
I don't know. It's a little too free love for me.
You know what it is for me also? Much like nudist colonies, it's generally the people
You don't want to see.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, no shit you guys are up to fucking somebody else because nobody else will fuck you.
Yeah. You want to keep all your options open.
Yeah. No, it just feels like it's not like, definitely not the most, in the porn, super attractive.
Right.
In the real life, not the most attractive.
Yeah, and there's something weird about interacting with people who are just trying to fuck whoever wants to fuck them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I will say.
Well, it makes me itchy.
As somebody who always said I I want to try everything once. I know I've always said that. How do I know I don't like it?
Yeah.
I know what's in my brain. That's just one thing
You're good on.
I don't think, first of all, Beth is a hard pass.
Yeah.
Or a flaccid pass.
Yeah,
However,
yeah, flaccid pass.
however you want to put it.
Yeah.
But Beth is definitely a pass on that. And I don't need, that's not.
Well, it's weird. And then you guys just leave the party like you didn't just fuck another couple. Like, what's the aftermath like?
Yeah, do you do like, so what was it like for you?
Yeah. And then what if one partner liked it and the other one didn't? You're like,
Do you think generally
yeah,
it's more the dude's idea or the woman's idea?
it's the dude's idea.
See, I think it's the other. I think it's a woman who's like, this dude's
I've had enough.
not fucking me real well. Let's see who else can jump into the pool, you know?
Yeah. I mean, maybe, but it just seems so like.
It does seem like a guy.
It seems like a guy thing. It seems like the girl's trying to be cool, like the woman's trying to be cool. Like, yeah, let's fuck another couple, and then they do it, and she cries the whole way home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can see myself being like, yeah, I could do this, and then just sobbing the whole way home. That was a mistake. You know?
There are two that I don't understand. I don't understand the whole watching somebody else have sex with your wife thing.
No, that's so gross to me too.
That one doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. It would make more sense, and this doesn't make sense either. But if you're gonna fuck somebody else, I'd prefer not to see it.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Like,
yeah, well, like these people get turned on by watching their partner fuck someone else. They're mentally ill.
that's not for me.
Right?
That's not for me. It's just not. It's not for me. Good. By the way,
And
good for you.
Furries also.
I don't want to disparage furries.
What? Are you a furry?
I'm not. But I'm not I would. Remember when I said I would try everything once?
You would try a furry?
What a great story to tell on stage. That's what I go back to. I go back to, and I don't understand. Does your dick come out the costume?
I don't know.
And are you wearing one of those giant, like Chuck E. Cheese? Are you wearing a giant head?
You're wearing a giant head.
So there's no intimacy.
How do you pick what mascot you're going to be, though?
Oh, I think I go My Little Pony.
You would?
Okay. So does dick out?
Oh my God.
Okay, so this
That's a bit much.
husky dog fox is not hot.
Husky dog fox?
Are you telling me husky dog fox isn't kind of sexy?
Kind of, but I don't like it.
Nah, that's not. I'm not long for no.
The
But
green one. The green one?
But these are mascots. Are they actual furry?
Whoa, look at this one's like an anime one.
Now,
Yeah, these are like furry suits.
Okay, so then my question is there a whole? I'm assuming that's a woman. That's not hot. Is it-
What about this one?
Whoa! Wait, does it come with boobs, or is that
No, it must. It has to.
the boobs?
Boobs are sold separately.
Is there what I want to know, they keep the costume on. Can we research that? Do they keep the costume on? Is there a hole?
There has to be a hole.
Like, is it like traditional Jews through the sheets?
yes, through the sheets.
Is it our people through the sheets?
Yes. Is there a hole? Whoa.
Patching fur.
I mean, this is wild.
This right here, that one feels that right there. Yeah. It's common for makers to line up parts. What parts?
I don't get it.
That's my thing.
What?
So my thing is this. How do you find out many furry heads have openings in the mouth to allow for, yeah, that's nice.
Well, what about strategically placed holes?
How much is
Mersuits to distinguish them from traditional.
Hole for penis?
Yeah.
I was going to say genitalia.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
that's fine,
yeah.
genitalia.
Same thing.
Yeah.
If I can spell.
Fursuits have strategically placed holes for genitalia, but not all.
Fursuits with these holes are called mersuits.
Why mer?
I don't know.
Mersuits?
A mersuit, yeah.
So then some people are meeting in fursuits, but then taking them off to have sex. Isn't that just
That ruins
meeting at a
it
Halloween
to me.
party?
It's like, I thought you start off as a husky, you stay a husky. I don't want to see you as a human then suddenly. I had to brace myself for the husky outfit to begin with. And now you have legs.
Thank you. Listen, Brenda.
Listen.
I don't. This is not what I'm here for.
Listen,
I was
Brenda.
here for the tail, you know. Lift the tail. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So I would think as far as kinks go,
Yeah.
do you know what I find even not weirder, but for me less interesting?
Yeah.
Is feet people.
Feet people are wild.
They're intense.
They're fucking intense. They like
feet people are
they like
intense.
the soles of feet too.
Do you know what I tried to talk Jacob into doing?
What?
So Jacob on his right foot, he had 3 toes almost get cut off.
Whoa.
And his 3 middle toes, not the pinky, not the big one. And you know his podiatrist called them his beach toes. And I was like, why are they beach toes? He goes, because you don't need them. They're just good for the beach. I'm like, what do you mean you don't need them? He goes, those 3 toes don't have anything to do with balance or anything.
How did he lose those?
He was working at PA, and he was on the back of one of those lifts, trucks, and his foot was over the edge when it locked in.
Oh my God.
And so crazy that it didn't touch his big toe.
Sorry.
But can I tell you, okay, so we're at first of all, he calls me
Yeah.
and he's freaking out. They're on the way to the hospital in the back of an Uber.
Okay.
And I go, no ambulance? And they go, no, the Uber was closer.
Okay.
And he's freaking out in the back. He's like, Dad, I could hear him crunching. And I was like, is your shoe still on? He goes, yeah. I go, is there a hole in the shoe? And he was like, no. So I thought he was exaggerating.
There's no hole in the shoe?
No hole in the shoe, no crease in the shoe.
That's why you need steel toe.
Okay.
You got to wear steel toe on.
But this was the best advertisement for this shoe ever.
What shoe was it?
Remember Creative Rec used to be a shoe?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, I try to calm him down. I go, dude, ask the Uber driver if this is the weirdest thing that's happened to him today. And he goes, excuse me, sir.
No.
My dad wants to know if this is the weirdest thing that's ever happened. This happened to you today? And the guy was like, not even top 10, which was amazing. We get to the hospital. I'm trying to be funny.
Yeah.
They take off his sock. And I couldn't hold it in. I was like, ha.
No.
And he goes, how does it look? I was like, not what I thought it was going to look. He's begging for morphine or something. But his toes were hanging off.
Oh.
Anyways, so I asked him. Yeah, that's Creative Rec stuff. I didn't know they were still. They used to be shinier, more patent leather type stuff. But so I've been trying to talk him into doing not OnlyFans, but TonelyFans. And
Okay.
I told him, I go, we'll dress up your toes as people. Like we'll have Toe Biden,
No.
Shaquille Toe Heel,
Yeah.
and we'll have a makeup artist do your toes
Yeah.
as people who rhyme with that name,
Yeah.
right? Toe Pesci might be
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? But I
Yeah.
thought it'd be really fun. And I go, and these foot people are fucking bananas.
Yeah, yeah,
I said,
they'll
you're going to
love it.
make a ton of money.
Yeah.
And you know what he said? I'd rather show my dick. And I was like, what? What do you mean? Yeah, those patent leather ones are almost exactly like the ones he was wearing. They did not crease. His toes crushed. Those didn't.
That's so crazy.
It was bananas. But I tried to talk him into doing TonelyFans. He's not. But I might TonelyFans
Push it.
because the foot people
Are insane.
intense.
They're insane. I know.
Dude, I'm sure you get toe people.
Yeah, I get
people
foot people all the time.
and they're kind of aggressive.
They're aggressive. They want to see the soles of your feet. I didn't even know that was like a thing. I thought it was about the toes.
Me too. I had one guy
They
say,
like
"Can
the
you
sole."
spread your toes for me?"
No.
I was like, yes.
Spread your toes is so gross.
Yeah. Well, what are we gonna do? What are you planning on doing if I spread my toes, bro? Like, what's the next step? You gonna stick your dick in between my big toe and my other toe?
I
Like,
don't get it.
yeah. I've also never been. I know there are guys who like to put their dicks in between the foot.
Oh yeah.
I'd rather. I mean, I'm a way bigger fan of a vagina.
Yeah, than feet.
Yeah, because first of all, if it got to be zero callus type foot. It can't be a rough foot.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to really lube it up in a way. But like, I'm gonna be having sex with your foot while your vagina's just like a
Right
foot
there.
away.
Right there.
It feels.
But they prefer the feet to the vagina. I think the wires crossed.
I have a theory
Okay.
that they finish too quickly otherwise. And so the struggle of the foot is like makes it last longer.
Well, I would say this: the foot is probably tighter than the vagina.
You think?
No.
When you push your foot together, it's probably
Oh, I guess.
right. So the vagina's kind of I would say the foot probably is more pressure.
A lot of coordination, though.
I mean, look,
To
I'm
keep
not
the
going to say
feet
I've never
going.
done it before.
You're really
So when I say probably,
you're really standing on the side of the feet, people.
I mean, it is. It's a tighter. Like you can really tighten it in there. You know.
All right. Well, there goes my theory.
But listen, you find the right partner and try it out later. Let me know how it goes.
Oh,
What? Maybe this is probably not the right form.
What?
But like what? So if I was gonna say I had a kink,
yeah.
I don't know that I have what I would consider to be like a kink like that. I mean,
But you've had sex with feet.
I've tried a bunch of stuff.
And that just didn't speak to you in the same way.
I've tried a bunch of stuff only because I've always wanted to just be like, yeah, I tried that. That wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be like, I don't like that. Well, how do you know?
Right. Right.
Right? So I've tried a bunch of shit and there's a lot of stuff I don't like.
There's
But-
a lot of stuff I don't like too.
Yeah. Because even if you're going to stay in what would people call the parameters of non-kink, there's a lot of options. There's still a lot of stuff to do.
That's true.
You know, but I don't mind a little. I like dirty talk. I like. I don't want to have sex in public. That's not a thing.
Right.
But I don't mind danger of some kind. I mean, not like lighting my balls on fire.
Like a car's reversing into you and you're having
But
sex.
like maybe like on the freeway.
No.
or-
Sex on the freeway?
Yeah, Beth is. That's not. No, I'm saying things that I don't. This is not.
I've
I
seen
want to let
those
you know
videos,
that
too.
Beth is. This is not. Beth would have been like. The reason I never brought that up with her, she'd be like, "Fuck, that's so stupid." I tried just a lot of stuff when I was younger, but none of it stuck really.
So you're not a foot guy.
Not a foot guy. I have changed from like when I was a younger dude, I was a boob dude, and I'm definitely more of a butt guy now. But
I feel like that happened to all of society.
I think
Collectively.
you're right. All at the same time.
Yeah, collectively. Everyone was like, okay, boobs, we've had enough.
I think
Let's
what
go
happened
ass.
was Jennifer Lopez kind of cracked the door open,
Yes.
and then Kim Kardashian's big ass walked through it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think that's how it went.
Yeah.
But I would tell you, I love the way. Look, when I was growing up, I love that women of all shapes and sizes wear bikinis now.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, that was not. You had a bikini body or you wore a one piece.
Yeah.
And it was not like there are girls who wear crop tops. And when I was coming up, you would have had to been the perfect, right?
To wear a crop top?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the 90s?
I love
You couldn't be
it,
fat in a
dude.
crop top in 94? You insane?
I love the fact that people are just, this is what I look like.
Letting it
Yeah,
all hang
man.
out?
It's so much better. I saw a dude in a crop top.
No.
That's happening now.
I know. Harry Styles. I feel like he wears a crop top.
I've started, like, I wear women's sweaters. I like women's sweaters.
I believe that.
I wear women's sweaters. there's some women's jackets I like.
Women's sunglasses?
Definitely women's sunglasses.
Yeah.
You know I'm
Yeah.
totally in on women's sunglasses.
Yeah. How many
But-
pairs of sunglasses do you think you have?
Mm. Oh, boy.
Like,
40.
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Maybe
A lot.
Maybe a little more. I like sunglasses.
You like a statement glass.
I do. I like a statement glass, and I've also gone statement jackets.
A statement jacket is fun.
It's a good time.
It's letting people know, yes, I'm fun.
Yeah.
You know? I'm not dressed like a fucking teacher.
But that just happened to me recently, maybe around the High Life, where I was like, I'm going to start wearing what I've always wanted to. I would have never worn this hoodie.
I like that hoodie.
I would have never worn this hoodie. I would have been like, no, t-shirt, jeans, you got to wear, you know.
Yeah.
And what your uniform is or whatever the fuck. Whatever I pushed out my persona to be like on Chelsea, I would have stayed in that lane.
For forever.
For fucking ever.
Oh. Which birth of your kids was the craziest?
Well, you know, biologically, I just have one.
Right.
Right? So
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
so I do remember I was driving from here back up to, I came down to find an apartment. So I was driving up from here to Seattle for his birth. And he came early. And I remember waking up in Santa Rosa, California. I had a pager.
No.
And I saw...
What color?
It was black. I think Joe Diaz and I had the same pager.
You guys did?
He was the last dude who came to cell phone, though. He hung out of that pager for as long as he could. But I remember I saw a message. I called, and it was just Jacob crying.
What?
Newborn. And she said, he's here. Get here when you can.
That's crazy.
And so I got in the car. I got pulled over doing like 97 in Northern Oregon. And the guy was like, what are you doing? Are you out of your fucking mind? And I played him the message. And he said, I'm going to radio ahead. Keep it under 90, but nobody's going to pull you over.
No one's going to pull you over?
He was like, I'm going to tell I guess he had friends.
Friends.
In the Washington, on the state police too. And he was like, this dude, his baby's just born. He's going to keep it under, but he's going to be going.
No.
And nobody,
That's
and I don't know.
fucking crazy.
I don't know if he just said that to make me feel okay for speeding, but I didn't get pulled over.
That's so crazy.
And he said, congratulations, be safe. And I was like, you got it.
And he didn't write you a ticket?
Nothing. He was mad when he walked up to the window. He was like, are you out of your fucking, like, why are you driving so fast?
Then you charmed him?
I didn't charm him. I was like, I had my first baby. Bada bing, 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 you know?
Yeah.
And I had just done a set at a place called the Crow's Nest. Was that Santa Rosa, Santa Ana?
The Crow's Nest?
Yeah. But this, again, these little bar shows where half the people didn't know they were there for comedy.
Yeah.
You get good.
You have no choice but to get good.
You to make that second half of the crowd who didn't know they were there for comedy, who are talking and drinking, quiet, not just quiet down. If you can get them to quiet down, but to get them to enjoy a comedy show, that's when you know you're like, oh, I'm figuring this shit out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I remember doing open mics, and then the people who had been doing it longer that would just drop into the mic, they didn't have to sign up or whatever.
Yeah.
They would just crush, and you're like, I didn't know anyone could do well in this fucked up room. You're like, oh, that's what it is to be good at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long you been doing it?
Since 2010.
Tell me, like, I'm always curious about this. When did you start to feel like, oh, okay, I'm starting to figure this out? How many years in, you think?
Like 7.
It's like med school, I tell people.
It's like 7 years. And then, even after 7 years, you're like, oh, wait, no, there's things I still don't know how to do. And then the second that you feel like you got it all figured out, you go on stage and you have a fucked up set. And then you're like, well, this is the most humbling career ever.
Yeah. Well, think about now. Think about your material.
Yeah.
And then think about that 7 years in. Look back at that material then.
Yeah.
When you thought you were like, oh, I'm fucking nailing this.
Yeah.
But now you're like, I wouldn't do one of those jokes.
Yeah. And then I remember when I first started, I did a lot of act outs that they weren't for me.
But I love your dry delivery.
But it took me a while to figure out that was what I was going to do on stage. Like when I first started, I would do weird things.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what kind of weird things?
Like act outs, like humping the air in like yoga class,
Listen,
or like
everybody's
just
humped a stool on
weird
stage.
shit that like in hindsight I'm like, oh, I'm so embarrassed that people saw me do that. Do you know what I mean? And in my head I'm like, this is gonna land. And there's nothing worse than an act out that doesn't land. Because you're just up there like an asshole. And you're like, I didn't want to have to do physical comedy anyway. But
I just pretended to be a caterpillar for you fucking people.
Nobody liked that.
You didn't like the caterpillar?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fascinated by stand-up. I'm a bit of a stand-up nerd. I love listening to people's experiences and how they've changed, but like when they felt like it was all kind of dropping in. I'll tell you something, as somebody who's been doing it for a while, if you ask people who've been doing it for a while, you know what they say when they really figured it out?
What?
20 years.
20, I believe
15,
that.
20 years.
I fucking believe that.
15, 20, when you were like, because not only are you figuring it out, but you get to a point like, you know, when you watch Burr,
Yes.
I'm sure he's at a point where when he writes something, he's like, I'm gonna say this funny.
Yeah. Like it's funny right after he thinks of it.
I know this is gonna be funny. And I'm sure if you wrote out his set and didn't know whose it was, but just wrote out his set, I bet you some of his biggest punchlines aren't funny on paper. They're just funny the way Bill says it.
That makes sense.
I don't know that for a fact, and I could be 100% wrong. But if he feels like he's so casual and so locked into who he is on stage, that a lot of his funny is who he is.
Yeah, it almost seems effortless when you watch him.
That's why I think so many people are trying stand-up now, because the people at the very top make it look so easy.
Yeah, the people at the very top make it look easy as fuck.
Yeah. I'm just going to lean on this mic stand.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you about what's been happening. I will tell you, there's some nights where I feel... So for me, if you see me here at the store or anywhere in town, this is not the best you're going to see me. My 15 minutes of me is not the best version of me. I tell long stories.
Right.
15 minutes is a story. And so it's hard for you to get in my rhythm here.
Right.
Right? But this special I'm putting out, I have a special drop on October 2nd.
Oh, you do? What's it called?
4 stories.
4 stories. Are you dropping it on YouTube?
On YouTube.
Okay, cool.
And it's just 4 stories.
That's awesome.
It's and the reason I love this special more than any of the other ones that I've done is, one, I was told repeatedly, hey, don't do that. This is not the way specials work.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to let them tell me how to do my art.
Yeah.
But also, I filmed it twice. I filmed it in a small place on purpose. I didn't tell the people who were coming that it was a special.
Cool.
I didn't have an audience coordinator to be like, when he walks on stage, stand up. And when he says goodnight, stand up. Let's practice. I didn't do any of that shit.
Right.
I want honest. So I filmed it twice. The first set was great. The second set, there was a woman who was shit-faced, and I had to throw her out.
Okay.
In the middle of, that's the set I aired, and I didn't cut that out.
That's awesome.
Because I want people to see what it's like to go to a stand-up comedy show.
Yeah.
And I had to stop a joke, do all this shit with her, wait for her to get thrown out, and start the joke again 10 minutes later. And I even said, I have no idea if this joke is going to work with a 10-minute break, but let's see. And everyone in my camp was like, dude, use the first show.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, this second show is what stand-up comedy is.
Yeah.
This is what we have
to deal with all the time. Psychopaths that think that they are the show.
Or just people who are shit-faced and they don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was not trying to be disruptive. She was just shit-faced.
Yeah.
And right next to a camera and a mic.
That's so crazy.
But I am keeping it because I'm like, no, this is an authentic comedy experience. I don't cut to any wides. It's me.
That's awesome.
Very few cuts, because that's not how people watch comedy.
Are all the stories different, or do they fit into like a theme?
So there are 4 different stories. One story is about me getting arrested at IKEA when the kids were young.
That's crazy. I want to watch it already.
One story was about I lived in a studio, me and a dude. So, it was just one room and our beds and he had more sex than I did. So I had to listen to him have sex a lot. But I had to listen to him have sex with a deaf girl one night.
No.
One of my favorite stories ever. That's on there. There's a story on there. The 3rd story is about taking an edible on a plane and freaking the fuck out.
When was that?
A couple of years back.
Okay.
I took 100 milligrams and it did not
sit well.
No.
No.
But my interaction with the flight attendant and the pilot was hilarious. And my last story was about being on spring break when I was a freshman in college and inventing a dance to try to get a woman to have sex with me.
Did it work?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Wait,
a mating dance?
It was because when I was going on my way, I was like 18 and I was like, I need to figure out a dance that somebody will have sex with me.
Yeah.
And this was not a TikTok time where people were inventing their dances.
Right.
So but these are 4 stories, a little bit for everybody, but something that like I'm so proud of.
That's
because
awesome.
I didn't let anybody else's idea of what a special should or should not be. I had a couple people who were like up in the comedy world were like, dude, 4 stories, that's not like, this is not a theater shit. This is stand-up comedy. Like you need to I was like, there's jokes in the stories,
Yeah.
It's still stand-up comedy.
Yeah. I'm still writing jokes within the story. It's not just a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And leaving the heckler in and all that, they were just like, this is not what this is supposed to. And not doing a bunch of cuts. I never cut to the audience.
Yeah.
When I'm watching a special, I'm like, I don't need to see that woman laughing.
Yeah. I can hear her.
I can hear
about her.
I can hear them laughing. I don't need my ego to show you that people laughed.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm so proud of this special. I can't wait. I think my next special might just be an hour of songs. I bring the guitar on the road with me.
Yeah.
And I'm just having fun, man. I'm doing wherever my creative brain takes me.
Do you do the same songs? Like, have you, when you bring your guitar, or is it just?
I have probably an hour and 20 of songs.
You do?
Yeah.
So when you're writing the songs, do you just smoke weed and like sit down with your guitar?
So
that's how I would imagine it.
I go in between originals and parodies.
Okay.
And the parodies, and I'm not Sandler or Weird Al. These are strictly vehicles.
You're not?
For punchline. I'm as Jewy as Sandler.
Yeah.
But I use these strictly, and that's not a knock on either one of those guys. They're more successful than I'll ever be in my life. But I use my songs as vehicles for punchlines. And if I tell a punchline in a joke and I don't think I can beat it, that's the end of the song.
That's cool. So you end on the punchline.
It doesn't need to be like, if I do a parody, I have a parody of a Suzanne Vega song called My Name Is Luca, right? My name is Luca.
Yeah.
I tried to beat the punchline that's 7 seconds in and I can't. So the song is 7 seconds long.
I respect that.
That's it. It's not. I'm not a musician. I'm not at Lollapalooza. It's a comedy show.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have fun. It's still gonna be funny. The only thing, and it's still funny. To end some of my shows, we do like to get the entire crowd to sing along is so much fun.
That does sound fun.
So it's been. Jacob does 10 minutes. I do 70. We do a Q&A. I do the music. Show's over.
That's so fun. That's so crazy that you get to bring your son on the road and that he likes it, loves it.
He tells embarrassing stories about me. Which
he does. Does he
sauce.
run them by you first or no?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes no.
Yeah, he's telling a story now on stage about this time where on the last episode of Chelsea Lately, I'm a huge Miley Cyrus fan.
You are?
Huge.
Okay.
But I was too embarrassed to ask her for a picture. And he said to me, dude, go ask her. You're a grown man. I was like, that's why I can't ask her.
Yeah.
Super creepy.
Yeah.
I said, but if you ask her and then ask if your dad can be in the picture.
Yeah.
And he completely threw me under the bus and embarrassed me.
No.
But he's telling that story right now. He tells a story about how I make him fly with all the drugs in his bag. I make him fly with all the drugs because I told him, he was like, dude, I can go to jail. I go, yeah, but if you go to jail, if I go to jail, the whole ship goes down.
No.
If you go to jail, I just need to find somebody to do 10 minutes in front of me.
That's so funny. That's so fucked up.
But yeah, man, like I said, I could not be happier.
That's awesome.
I could not be. There's just, and I feel so relaxed.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yes.
Well, that's our episode. Do you have anything else you want to promote in addition to your special?
Special drops October 2nd on my YouTube channel.
It's probably been since
I would
did
say,
your
guys,
podcast with
like I said,
Yeah,
I
when was
produced,
that?
directed, I did
Like a
all
year
of it
and a half
myself. I would really appreciate the support.
so
Even if
crazy.
you turn it on and
she
don't
move?
watch it,
Yeah, she moved
just
to
so I can
Austin.
give the middle finger to these
And-
people who told me not to
Just had
do
to
this.
say.
I'm here right
And then I
now.
do a podcast
We'll
with
see what
Jacob
happens.
called Hey Man.
Okay,
Would
cool.
Austin be
And
a
it's
move?
Hey Man, man is with 3 A's because that's how
probably.
I say it.
Hey, man.
Hey Man.
What?
Okay.
And,
keeping you
and that's
and
it.
what would
ComedianJoshWolf.com for tour
Well, I have a
dates.
boyfriend
and
who has children.
I'm in Vegas on Monday
so
nights
that's
doing
keeping me.
my residency. And he's
Awesome.
not going. Yeah, I'm
He's
just
not
having fun.
going.
Unless
Cool.
he
Thank you
gets
so much for
full
coming on, and
custody,
thank you guys for
would take
watching
a while.
another episode of
Right.
Shank.
Figure
You can
out.
find
How
me
old's
here
your
every
boyfriend with
Wednesday
children?
and every
36.
Monday on this bitch. Patreon.com/Sara Weinshenk
How
for
old are your
bonus
kids?
content.
7 and
I'm
3.
coming to DC
Boys.
Comedy
You live in
Loft
the
with
Valley?
Kim
I live
Congdon
in
in
Thousand
November and La
You
Jolla
live in
in
Thousand Oaks?
No, I live in
Valley.
December. So get tickets for
How
those
long
more
have you been
dates
dating
at
this dude?
Princess Shank on
About a
Instagram.
year.
And we'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye. Yeah.